lift them, and he lifted them very squarely and steadily. "Yes, I think I did love Cornelia," he acknowledged frankly. "The very first time that I saw her I said to myself, 'Here is the end of my journey,' but I seem to have found out suddenly that the mere fact of loving a woman does not necessarily prove her that much coveted journey's end. I don't know exactly how to express it, indeed I feel beastly clumsy about expressing it, but somehow it seems as though it were Cornelia herself who had proved herself perfectly amiably no journey's end after all, but only a way station not equipped to receive any particular kind of a permanent guest. It isn't that I wanted any grand fixings. Oh, can't you understand that I'm not finding any fault with Cornelia? There never was any slightest pretense about Cornelia. She never even in the first place made any possible effort to attract me. Can't you see that Cornelia looks to me today exactly the way that she looked to me in the first place? Very amazingly beautiful. But a traveller, you know, cannot daily indefinitely to feed his eyes on even the most wonderful view, while all his precious lifelong companions, his whims, his hobbies, his cravings, his yearnings, are crouching starved and unwelcome outside the door. And I can't even flatter myself," he added wryly, "I can't even flatter myself that my going is going to inconvenience Cornelia in the slightest, because I can't see that my coming has made even the remotest perceptible difference in her daily routine. Anyway," he finished more lightly, "when you come right down to mating or homing or belonging, or whatever you choose to call it, it seems to be written in the stars that plans or no plans, preference or no preferences, initiatives or no initiatives, we belong to those, and to those only, hang it all, who happen to love us most." Fairly jumping from his chair, the doctor snatched hold of Stanton's shoulder. "Who happen to love us most?" he repeated wildly. "Love us? Us? For heaven's sake, who's loving you now?" Utterly irrelevantly, Stanton brushed him aside and began to rummage anxiously among the books on his table. "Do you know much about Vermont?" he asked suddenly. "It's funny, but almost nobody seems to know anything about Vermont. It's a darned good state, too, and I can't imagine why all the geographies neglect it so." Idly his fingers seemed to catch in a half open pamphlet, and he bent down casually to straighten out the page. "Area in square miles 9,565," he read aloud musingly. "Principal products hay, oats, maple sugar." Suddenly he threw down the pamphlet and flung himself into the nearest chair and began to laugh. "Maple sugar!" he ejaculated. "Maple sugar? Oh, glory! And I suppose there are some people who think that maple sugar is the sweetest thing that ever came out of Vermont." The doctor started to give him some fresh advice, but left him a bromide instead. End of chapter 9.